Hey, what's up, boys? This is Astranox. This is gonna be a review of Sage Baal Sezan and my early thoughts about the hero, and also a mini guide. So let's begin here. First thing I want to say is that this hero is, of course, insane for PvP. He's such a god. He can easily cut in after the enemy goes with their combat readiness booster. He just cuts in and remove up to 2 buffs from each of the enemy's targets on their team, and also just 80% chance to put them to sleep. It's extremely powerful. It's a 1-turn sleep, but it's enough to really disrupt the enemy team. And this is not used even on auto. Manual, auto, auto, this is not used unless he is missing 60% of his health. So even on defense, he's gonna use the Cloud of Ruin, which is the thing that you should be afraid of. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about his multipliers, but first there's a few things I want to talk about. How to counter him, because most players will not have him and might never see this ML Baal ever. So you can counter him with a high-speed Falconer Clury. You just go first and you just provoke him. So it's gonna buy you enough time to potentially kill some high threats on their team, high damage dealers, or maybe just take this hero out ASAP. So yeah, high speed Falconer Clury, but it's not gonna work on defense. If you get attacked by ML Baal, Clury is just gonna be grabbing some ice hero or some earth hero. Like, she's not gonna go against a light hero first. That's an issue, but yeah, that's the way it is. Now you can also use Gloomy Rain, 3-star light banshee. She's immune to sleep, stun, and provoke, and also, like, with her skill 3, whatever debuff she has on herself, she can apply it to the whole enemy team. So it's a way to potentially counter him when you go on offense, but she's squishy and it's gonna be hard to make a team work like that, especially against very high damage output teams. But I mean, it's one way to do it. So yeah, the Falconer Clury one is gonna be the better option, I feel like. So yeah, he can easily cut in and disrupt a speed team composition on auto and on manual, of course, because I mean you just use S2. And skill 2 dispels 2 buffs off of the enemy team on each target, and then it has an 80% chance to sleep each target. Very, very strong. Now even you got sleep on skill 1, 75% chance for 1 turn. That is extremely powerful on long battles, especially when you manual, but I'll talk more about this in a minute. Many players will have this hero starting in Challenger League, which means a speed cleave defense setup will have a lower win rate as time goes on, because this hero easily disrupts it and can pick off targets one by one or cleave them or whatever. So yeah, your defense, if you're using a speed team setup, is gonna drop over time as more and more players gets this hero. So an issue is that he's limited. He has limited usage in PVE, but he is a god of PvP. So in PVE, really, you can use him in the Abyss. There's so many floors where he can really shine and really, like, put a bunch of ads to sleep that are not immune to sleep, and in many floors the ads are more dangerous than the main boss. So yeah, he can definitely be used there, and if you can pick a kill, you can get him to max health. If you soul burn for 20 souls, you can reduce his skill cooldown by 2 turns. That includes skill 2, which means you can easily keep on sleeping and sleeping, especially if you have Ethica's Scepter artifact on him. That's even more chances to reduce his skill cooldown, and then whoever's not slept, you can just boom, S1. He's also light element, so he's elemental neutral, meaning that he's not at elemental disadvantage, so you don't need to be scared about missing at elemental disadvantage. It's not gonna happen. Now his stats, before I talk about his multipliers, his speed is good, so it's easy to scale it up to go first, but you should let the enemy team combat readiness booster go first. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's better that way. You can make him more tanky and all that. His defense is high, his health is not that high, but still good balance there. Free effectiveness and effect resistance of 18% is very welcome from his awakening. And skill 1, the multiplier on that is 205.81%. Skill 2 is 206.74%. And skill 3 is 336.78%. And skill 3 will trigger when he has 60% self missing health. So I feel like it's probably gonna trigger at 60% health or less, and not like at 40% health or less. That sounds very dangerous. So I think it's when he reaches 60% of his health or less, he's gonna use that S3. But I could be wrong, and it could be 40% or less. Correct me in the comment section, please, guys. So yeah, I talked about Ithaca's Scepter in PVE. That's very good. Elemental neutral. He's less likely to be targeted as well because he's of the light element. So other elements like ice, earth, and fire will be baiting the enemy team depending on who they are at elemental advantage against. So that's another plus. It's going to increase his survival. He is a god tier in Arena and Guild War, be it offense or defense. Of course, in offense is going to be even he's even more powerful because you can really decide who you are trying to sleep with that, and you could potentially like soul burn if the fight drags on and you have like good sustain. The enemy team has good sustain as well. You can use this and yeah, keep on sleeping. It's very dangerous. Pick off a kill, get him back to full memory imprint of health percentage. But I mean, yeah, first you have to get the hero. That is the biggest mission right there. And yeah, sleep on S1, I talked about it. Very good, especially on offense when you manual. And the longer the battle drags on, I feel like the more dangerous he can become if he cannot be killed, and if you pick off one of the enemy team hero, their damage output is getting lowered, and he is in turn, your whole team will be it's going to be easier to sustain their damage. So I would say that a slower and tankier Baal is ML Baal is more dangerous and harder to deal with as the game drags on. So the way to build him, I would say, is for the sets you would go for PvP, definitely go immunity. That's I mean, you have to go immunity. If you get outsped because you want to build him a bit slower, I mean, you don't want to get stunned, you don't want to get silenced, you don't want your combat units to be pushed back. There's so many heroes that can do these things, or multiple things at the same time. Or so yeah, immunity, you build him more tanky. Second set would be speed, because he's got pretty great speed at 115. So yeah, speed and immunity. Now for the main stats on the right side, necklace, I would go with health percentage. For the ring, if you build him tanky, health percentage or effectiveness, and speed boots. Why the ring you might want to go with effectiveness is because the higher your ranking in PvP, the higher your league, the more effect resistance people are stacking. So to counter effect resistance, you need as much effectiveness minus 15%. There's always 15% that you cannot counter. So in PvE, they have mostly like 70%. So with 55% effectiveness, you're good to go. But in PvP, they might have 100. So you want 85% effectiveness, or maybe they even over 100%. Maybe they have like 150%, you know, so you could use as much effectiveness as you can get. So that's why I would say an effectiveness ring, especially if you don't have effectiveness on your substats, that could be one way to go about it. Now for substats, you want speed, and you want tankiness, you want health percentage, you want defense percentage, you want effectiveness, you want effect resistance too. Like all these things, you're not gonna have immunity forever. So if you start getting stunned, if you start getting silenced, if you start getting your combat units manipulated by the enemy team as the fight drags on, you definitely want effect resistance the higher you are in PvP ranking. So I think I covered pretty much all I wanted to talk about. His stats besides speed, really, like his attack, I mean, his multipliers, yeah, it hurts, but you will not build him for damage, guys. You will not build him for damage. We can preview his skill and just quickly talk about that. But look at thirst for knowledge at the bottom right. He is willing to do anything and pay any price in order to obtain the knowledge he desires. That's pretty cool. Hero background is creepy though. Sage Baal fell in love with an ordinary human named Sezan and locked her soul in a doll to preserve her for himself forever. However, as time passed, her soul eroded away and eventually she became simply a normal doll. Oh, sad story. Creepy, sad, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, he looks cool. He's really different. He's different. So yeah, if you got him, like, really congratulations. Game changer in PvP, meta changing hero. You're gonna go up in ranking, that is for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. So let's preview his skills real quick. So that's his stats. Skill 1, got the season attacking. Skill 2, the deadliest skill in PvP. So yeah, of course he doesn't have effectiveness now, so it's not, and no skill ups. But yeah, you definitely want to drop those Molagoras on him because that skill 2 definitely needs both effect chance increase and finally the skill 3 that looks pretty sick. Well, it looks sick, but it looks creepy too. I mean, yeah, like sick cool, but like sick too. All right, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Press the bell icon if you like to be notified whenever I release a new video, and check out my other videos. They should be showing up on the screen now. I've got playlists for Arena, playlists for Guild Wars, playlist for my guides, tips, and how-tos. Check those out. A lot of good information in there if you haven't checked. Not too long ago I added a bunch of stuff, and also in the Abyss from floor 62 plus I talk about fight mechanics, different team composition, what you should bring, and how much damage you might be taking if you check the fight, what my stats were and all that for the heroes that I used. Some of them were not really like hard to obtain, so anyways, check those out. I don't use limited heroes in those videos, so yeah, check those out. And once again, congrats, man, if you got him. Wow, just nuts. Just nuts. Alright, peace out for now. Have fun in PvP.